there, my name is Rashi. I believe we all have had an incredible journey in life. Here on this podcast, I will be sharing the lessons I have learned along the way and will also have guests from all walks of life to have open and honest conversations with on issues and topics that affect us in our everyday life. I hope you will be part of this beautiful tribe. So let's begin. Hey guys, you have tuned into Let's Be Rational today with me, Rashi. And today I have an amazing guest, Pablo, with me, who is drinking a wine. And we'll be drinking wine together because Pablo wanted me to join him for this wine session because he loves wines. He also has, what do you call it? Wine with, what's the name?
We review wines with my good friend Philip.
He review wines with his friend, and they do these really quirky wine videos where they sort of review a wine each week, I think. Pablo is a really good friend of mine who I love talking to. I was on his podcast recently and we had like a really amazing conversation. He's a friend who I can so surely say that has such a positive outlook on life. Like, if you are with Pablo and you're outside, you'll definitely have a really good time because he is just such a good soul to be around with. And yeah, I just love your spirit. I love what you are trying to do. He is also claims to be the most fortunate person on this planet. So we'll talk about that later as well. Um, yeah, so this conversation, I just want to talk to you, Pablo, I guess, about I don't know, about everything, anything that comes to our mind. I just want us to have like a real honest conversation, like we always do, and bring that in front of people. And yeah, just let's talk. Whatever is going on. So,
Thank you so much for that beautiful introduction. I am very undeserving of this invitation. I am very undeserving of the nice words, so I appreciate them
not.
very much. Thank you, thank you. Yeah, I'm very fond of you, Rashi. You're awesome. As I said on my podcast, you were my guest. You were someone that inspired me to start it, to finally start it, and I'm very grateful to you for that. So you will always have a special place in my heart because of that. And I love you very much too. So you're someone that is very respectful and loving and open. So that's something real nice spirit to be around. So cheers to you.
Thank you and salud. I just want to take a sip of this one because I haven't tried this. This is like a vegan wine that Chun actually gave. Chun is actually a friend of mine, and I'm drinking a Chardonnay right now. It's a 2016 Chardonnay. Yeah, let me just give it a sip.
Where is it from? Wait. Before you do, you got to do the whole thing of letting it breathe. So I don't have any wine glasses because we broke them all. But um, you need to experience the oxygen interacting with the wine. Oxygen allows for it to breathe and to have this dance with the wine and creating this chemical reaction that it just releases way more flavor on your wine. So then that's how you experience the smell. So you go in, that's why the wine has that wine glass with that shape. So you can just put it over the roof of your mouth or your lips and just put your entire nose in it and just experience that. And then you take a sip and you let it stir your entire mouth. You just like experience it through your teeth and through your tongue, through the 8,000 taste buds that you have, and just make shit up. And just make shit up that you feel or you taste the oak or that you taste like it has hints of banana or whatever. Because that's what you're experiencing. And if you like it, it's a good wine. And that's it.
Yeah. I actually like this wine. It's actually pretty good. It's definitely oaky. Um, I can't tell the fruit. Like I'm not very good. Like I'm not a connoisseur, you know, like it definitely tastes like some fruit, but I don't know what it is. I can't tell.
Uh,
I
it's
can't.
it's whatever it just your brain picks up through your experience. It has to do with that.
It could be just grapes, I think. I
Most of the times, it's a lot of grape.
yeah. I don't know if there is any like yeah. I'll have to check later. But yeah. It's a wonderful wine. What are you drinking, Pablo?
I'm drinking my favorite cheap wine, which is the grape. I'm very much into cheap wines, and the grape is a Malbec grape, and it grows in South Australia. I buy it from Liquorland for like $11, and it's called Franco y Rico. It's a beautiful, fruity, full body Malbec. So if someone doesn't like red wine, I completely endorse this one to try it out because it has a bit of sweetness in it. So it's easy to drink and it's just beautiful.
Yeah, amazing. So where does your love for wine comes from? Like is it when did it start? Like what's the story?
It started because I made myself to like wine. So
Okay.
I am, yeah, I literally did. I am born and raised in Chile, and in Chile we have a very strong wine tradition. Our wines are very well known worldwide by wine connoisseurs, and we have like this huge pride in our wines. Seriously. And I do think that Chilean wines are the best wines in the world. Uh, so I was here in Australia, like what 3 years ago, 4 years ago, no, 5 years ago. Yeah, like 4 or 5 years ago. And I was like, I'm Chilean. I'm meant to like wine, so I'm gonna like wine. So what I started doing is I started drinking wine, and I think wine is an acquired taste in the end, like coffee is, for example. So I started drinking white wines because I got told it's easier to get into white wines. So I was drinking, like Sauvignon Blancs, and they were okay. And then I went to this party this house party, and this guy brought a Shiraz Cabernet, a Penfold Shiraz Cabernet. I'll never forget. And this Penfold Shiraz Cabernet was delicious. And then I learned that blends are an excellent way to get into red wine. There's something about it that it just makes them not too strong like a Shiraz. So it was like a Shiraz Cabernet. So it was like Shiraz grape with a Cabernet grape mixed together. It's just this beautiful explosion of goodness. And then when you have like this exercise of mindfully drink wine, and it's just not just like sculling any drink, you're actually sipping and experiencing the drink. I think you can find something very beautiful in it. And then I just started like exploring that, and then from then I was like, oh yes, this is great, and also it's cheaper. So yeah, I'm a wine drinker. You
Yeah.
can you can drink very cheap on wine. So
Yeah, well, I'm gonna get all my wine information from you now because, yeah, I'm not very good at it. I do love um, some wines. I'm not a big wine person. I do prefer gin and tonic or like rum and coke. And obviously, like I think I was talking to you about it. Like I wasn't aware that actually alcohol is there's some vegan alcohol, there's some non-vegan ones, so that also became like a bit of a contention. The one that I'm drinking is a vegan wine. Shout out to Chun, my friend, who gave me a vegan wine on my birthday. Um, but yeah, I think it's pretty good. So yeah, I'll be drinking that bottle this week. I also got some strawberries, by the way. Ha 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 ha. So
social distancing doesn't allow you to share, which is
yes.
bullshit.
Yeah. It would be like a date then, Pablo. If we were sharing strawberries and wine.
Missing the cheese board.
Mm.
Oh, you don't, you can't.
No, I have
Don't you
vegan
miss
cheese.
cheese?
I have vegan
Yeah,
cheese.
but it's not the
What?
same.
I like it.
No.
See,
I'm not saying it's bad. I'm not
yeah.
saying it's bad. I'm saying it's not the same.
Uh, it's
Is,
not the
is,
same.
is, is it the same? Okay, which one is more delicious?
Oh, I'm not a cheese person. I used to not have cheese anywhere.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah, I'm not a cheese person.
I'm a huge cheese person, and that's I think that's the main reason why I never tried vegan food,
Mm.
because I just love cheese,
Yeah, see, like,
not cheese.
yeah, like cheese is not a, like, I don't know, from where, like, from India, where I come from, like cheese is like, obviously cheese in dishes is a huge thing, but we don't have like platters. Cheese platter I only got to know about when I moved to Melbourne. And then I used to
Mm,
eat it only because people were eating it, but then I never understood, like, why are people eating cheese? And then yeah, I never really understood the concept. But yeah, I do enjoy some cheese in like pizzas and stuff, but I don't really have like a cheese platter or anything. But I understand the obsession, like I get it, like why it is a big deal here. um but yeah. um Pablo, what I wanted to ask you is, I have so many things to ask you. Okay,
really?
I actually wrote down some questions for you. Let me open.
Okay. You can ask me anything.
Okay. You know what? I was dating a guy once, and I think you know the guy. And I know that you love dancing, right? And
Yeah.
he had a big phobia for dancing. He wouldn't move his body. And you know that I love dancing. And I never wanted that to become like a breaking point for, or what do you call it? Like a, um, what's the word for, like a turn off?
Like yeah, like a red flag, like a
Yeah, like,
uh,
I can't come up with the word.
yeah. I know what
Yeah.
you're implying. I know the word, the concept that you're trying to get. I'm trying to get the same concept. Uh, a
It's such a simple word. But
Yeah, when you have a reason good enough to break up with someone.
yeah. Yeah. So what do you have to say about, like, I think for some men it's like, what I have realized is like dancing sometimes they treat it as, oh, it's a bit feminine, or it's just, no, men don't dance, like, obviously it's not that case anymore. Like I
Mm,
see a lot of people opening up to dance, like there's social dancing, there's salsa, there's so many other forms of dancing, but there's still like that sort of understanding about dance, like, dance is not for men, or like for
yeah.
him. Okay, I'll make you, like, he wasn't like that. I think his reason was that he was traumatized some at some point in his childhood, because apparently he was laughed at for trying to do ballet or something when he was really young. And then after that, like, he, one thing is dancing and one thing is to not even move and get like, he would freeze if he would see people dancing and he was asked to dance. He would just leave the room because he was so traumatized. I was like, oh man, like I tried so hard, Pablo, to make him dance, but I couldn't. But yeah, I don't know. How does your love for dancing, where does it come from?
Um, I think that so what you were saying before, I think that dancing is something that every human likes to do, and that's a conviction, personal conviction that I have. I think that every single human likes to dance. I think that most humans, or a lot of humans, don't know it yet, and um, they get stopped, and they stop themselves because of something that happened to your ex, like trauma, bully. Uh, they don't want to be seen as someone that is ridiculous or effeminate or whatever, or it's too sexual. So there's other reasons, but I've never met anyone that truly doesn't like to dance. They just don't like the exposure that they can get against other people or to other people.
Mm.
Like a lot of my Aussie friends, I also always ask them, do you dance? And they say, only when I've had a couple of drinks.
Yeah.
And that is a really important point, because when you drink, your inhibitions go out the window and you allow yourself to actually enjoy the moment. And that tells me that a lot of people really love to dance, but they think they have two left feet. They think that they're not coordinated. They think that they're too stiff. And yeah, probably they are, but it's because they've never practiced anything. So I think that everybody loves to dance. I don't think everybody knows it yet. And there is some social and psychological uh, reasons behind why someone does not dance. Me, I discovered that I love dancing when I was 18. So I went to like prom in my school, and I was forced to dance. And I was like, because it was like the last party with my people from school, and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna dance, whatever. Because I never liked to dance in school. Never. I was super against that. I was like, nah. And it was because I was very shy. And in that party, I danced, and I loved it. And then I would get invited to like random weddings like throughout the year. And when the dancing came, I was like, yes, this is the best. And I didn't even drink back then. Um, and then when I got to Australia, I had never done any Latin dancing. And when I got to Australia, a friend of mine, um, she invited me to a salsa class. And I went to a salsa class and I did it for like a month, 2 months, and I hated it. But then I would continue going clubbing with my friends, and we would go initially to like to pick up girls, like the group of
Yeah.
mates, like get a girl. But then I would get super sidetracked on the dance floor. I would just love to just be on the dance floor. I didn't care about anything else, and I was like, yes, I just love dancing. So uh, I, I just started having honest conversations with myself as I was growing up, as I was dealing with my own shit, with my own insecurities, with my own fears. And I was like, you know what? I actually love dancing.
Mm.
Yeah, I love it. So I'm going to give it Latin dancing another shot because I have a new mindset. I have a new mentality because when I hated it years back, I was a very different person. Someone that was very judgmental, someone that wasn't positive, very critical of everything, etc. And I went back and then it never stopped. And I've just been in love with dancing because and one of the reasons why I love dancing is because it's an expression that you can do with your entire body. And I think that's just so liberating and so powerful. I love music. That's probably my main thing is that I love music, and that's why I love dancing because of music. And I just can express whatever like comes through like the song. And that's my favorite thing.
Yeah, I'm so with you on this. Like, I feel like dancing is such a way of expressing yourself. Like, you should be able to move your body the way you want. Like, it's, kind of like, there shouldn't be any stigma around it. I just don't understand, like, why moving your body the way you want is just treated as, oh, like, it becomes like a competitive thing, or just to think about grace, like whether you're graceful or not. Like, who cares? Like, just feel free in your body. I feel like it also so much reflects about someone's insecurities or not, like whether they're insecure about something, about people's perception of them. And it's just, I think dancing could also be like a great way of breaking that perception and, being present and being alive in your body and just being able to express yourself the way you want. I definitely feel like dancing is like a big tool for overcoming those um, confidence issues or insecurities that you have. But yeah, only if people would understand. I am very competitive when it comes to dancing. Like I'm more like, oh, I wanna be the best in the room when I'm dancing. I'm like, oh, I wanna, if that person can do this, I should be able to do this. Like, I always have that thing. Are you competitive as well?
I'm competitive in every single thing.
Are you?
I'm very yeah, yeah. I love to win. I love competition. Yeah.
Yeah.
But um competition is a very interesting thing because a lot of people think a competition is me against you,
Yeah.
and I'm very competitive with myself. And for me, when there's people that are better than me, I really like it
Mm.
because that only means how good I can get, you know?
Yeah.
So uh, I am very competitive. Like if we play a board game, I want to win. It's my first time playing. I want to win. Um,
Oh my God, I'm so much like that. Are you a
yeah,
Leo?
Hmm?
Are you a Leo?
What's up? Interesting enough. Interesting enough. I am a Cancer,
Oh,
but my ascendant is in Leo. And when I learned that, I was blown away because I've never considered myself a very good, like a very good Cancer, because I'm not that. Yeah, I'm like emotional, whatever. Like I'm creative, but I'm not an introvert. I don't consider myself an introvert.
yeah,
I get energy from people. I get energy from conversations from like big spaces with a lot of people. Like I love that. I love big cities.
yeah.
So when I learned that I was a Leo, like an ascendant in Leo, and I was like, yes, this makes sense. Although I don't know if it does, but for me, it was like, oh, this is fun.
Yeah, because Leos are very competitive as well. That's what I think. I mean, again, not too much into horoscopes, but I do believe in a little bit of zodiac signs.
I think it's very interesting. I don't think it's it's an exact thing, but I think there's some interesting points. And I like to think, as the spiritual being that I think I am, is that there must be some sort of relation from the moment that you came to be, in this universe, in relation to all the energy surrounding it, from this planet, the moon, different planets, the sun, and all of that. I think there must be some sort of uh, strong manifestation. Um, but I don't think that that defines who you are. And I think that it's something fun to know. And there are some things that make sense. Um, and yeah, I love it now. I actually read my horoscope every day now.
Do you?
uh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't believe it every day. But I think it's fun. I think it's a fun thing. It's a fun thing to connect. I use it a lot to laugh at it. I laugh at the horoscope a lot, but also I sometimes it puts things in perspective because a lot of the mantras or whatever that they come up with this are quite positive and quite true, quite
Mm,
cheesy, but true. I'm like, oh, actually, that's something that I should pay more attention to. You should pay more attention to who you hang out with, or um, write a letter to your friend today about how important they are to you and stuff like that. That is like, all right, that's actually not a bad idea. So
yeah.
uh, yeah, that's how I use it now. I just use it for fun, and I think
Same.
it's an interesting way to connect with people too.
I used to look at my horoscope, like I'm talking when I was in school, like every day. I don't do that anymore because I don't get newspapers or anything, but I do believe in like the basic characteristics of zodiac signs, like, a Cancer is like this, and like a little bit like basic, like very basic. It can be wrong, but I think sometimes it is a bit, you can find some common traits, and why sometimes you can disagree with a person because that person is a Cancer and I'm like Aquarius or Leo, whatever. Yeah, that's interesting. Um,
Yeah,
how are you
one of
finding?
sorry, I just need to say this. One of my best friends, she reads tarot cards and angel cards,
Is it
and I
Kara?
had never done.
Is
Hmm?
it Catalina?
No, 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 another
Okay.
friend, and I never done that before. I used to be very religious and be very against that. Um, and I did it this year just before COVID happened. And every single thing that she mentioned of the reading came true.
Is
So
it?
I'm yes, every single thing. And I'm like fucking I was like super puzzled and amazed.
Mm,
Um, that was really interesting. I think that the spiritual world is very, very um very much alive and real. So I think there's a lot of stuff that does happen. Like,
mm,
yeah, and energies and
mm.
aura, karma.
Yeah. I do believe in the concept of energy and how interconnected we are spiritually. I just
Mm,
sometimes find it difficult. Like, I just don't want to be delusional as well. You know what I mean? I don't want to guide my life just on the basis of what the reading of my life is. So I try to be practical about it as well. But if someone does a tarot card reading for me, I accept it as well. But I try to not rely on it, you know? Like I try to just let it go. Like, okay, I read it, I know it, fine. Um yeah. Yeah, it's a bit tricky. I don't know. Oh yeah, I was gonna ask you, what's been how's your COVID life been? Like, I know we have talked about it a little bit when we were on your podcast, you know, like how we basically agreed on the fact that we can be confused about what's going on, how we do not have to take sides, and we can agree with a lot of things on either side of the spectrum. Like we can agree with what's happening with the lockdown. So if the audience, like, I don't know if they know, but we live in Australia, and especially in Melbourne, which is in the state of Victoria, and we are in complete lockdown at this moment, and this has become like a huge political thing. I don't want to get too much into it. What I wanted to know is just has your theory changed after the recent announcement? Like, how has your opinion about what's happening? Have you got more clarity? Do you see yourself siding on one side after the recent announcement?
So, okay, so I have a very strong opinion about the recent announcement
Okay.
of extending the quarantine. And I actually had to I took a break from talking about it yesterday because I was just so over it. And it's because the reason why I was so over it is because it's just sparking such strong opinions from people, and they're very emotional opinions. They're not opinions of critical thinkers. It's basically still mob mentality of whatever satisfies their own boat. So, well, this year has been amazing. For me, it's one of the best years I've experienced. I love 2020. I'm so sorry if someone doesn't like that, but I love 2020 because I've been able to grow so much through all the struggles that I've had and through all the um, time that I've been given. Like the one of the true blessings of COVID has been the time that it had given me. You know, making me unemployed from 1 month before COVID started in Australia, and having to decide what to do and figure out the stuff and meditate upon the things about myself that I needed to meditate upon and take care and then everything. This has been awesome. It's awesome year. Fantastic year. I love it.
Yeah.
And COVID now, it's still a complex subject. I think it's very complicated. I think it's very confusing because now I think more than anything, I think it's a political topic.
Mm.
Um, and for example, I for one, I don't agree with the extended lockdown in Victoria. The way that it's been roadmapped, I think it's illogical. I think it doesn't make sense. I think that it doesn't benefit the uh, greater population in the long run at all, and in the short time doesn't either. So um, I just have to make peace with it and make my own decisions about it. So yeah, it doesn't bother me. Like on Sunday, I allowed myself to be bothered by it, and then I just got over it because I think it's very important. It was very important for me to just be, this is disappointing. This is a bad
Yeah.
decision. And one of the main reasons why I thought it was a bad decision is because of all my friends that are suffering, been suffering, and going to continue to suffer unnecessarily, in my opinion. All my entrepreneur friends, friends that work in the dance industry, that have their own studios, people that their livelihoods depend on that, people that have their own beauty salons, people that work in the hospitality industry, all my international student friends that really can't do much work, all the people that depend on people that live in Australia. On an income, for example, there's a lot of people that live overseas that have family in Australia and they can't really get an income because in their countries they have a war situation and etc.
Mm.
I care. I feel very sad about my friends that are dealing with depression and anxiety from being separated for months from the loved ones and not being able to interact because this government doesn't allow you to move freely, doesn't allow you to interact freely with the people that you love, and that's going to cause a lot of trouble in the long run for these people. It's going to hurt a lot of kids in the developmental process and the social developmental aspects. Um, all the people that are not going to be able to have their cancers screened and diagnosed in time because they can't go to have elective surgery done, or because they can't just go into a clinic like they want to because they're just scared that they're going to get this virus and the press is just over exaggerating everything. I feel very sad about my family, about my friends. Um, and I think that there should be different measures to be taken. I think that there's a lot of people that are going to have a really hard life in the next years to come because of this decision, and that's why I'm not happy about it. But we elect our leaders, and we have to trust that they make good decisions. If they don't, we have other ways to cope with it. So. Um, Yeah, that's my side right now. Like I think
Yeah.
it doesn't make sense from a scientific point of view, um, from a logical point of view. It doesn't benefit the majority of the population. That's what I think.
Yeah.
And we can see what's happening in other countries and how the virus acts. Like we have way more information now than we did back in March and so forth.
Mm. Yeah, I definitely can understand the frustration. Like I'm frustrated myself. Yeah, I don't know. I'm a bit confused because I'm like, it is sort of we have progressed quite a lot from like 700 cases a day to down to like 50 or 60 cases a day. So we have made quite some progress. I do feel like the roadmap that, Dan Andrews laid out, I think it's a bit strict. Like it's too strict. Like, it could be a bit more flexible. I think now we have reached a stage when you can make it a bit flexible, but I think it's really, really strict. It has definitely impacted my dating life. I'll tell you that. Like I'm a bit pissed now. I'm really pissed because
Why?
I have been
Why?
I have been talking to guys like since a few months or so, and every time I get along with, I
Dating app?
think, huh? Sorry, dating app,
Dating app?
dating app. And I feel like I really like this person. Like I really want to hang out, just meet. I just want to meet the person. Whatever. I can't. Like, and it's just so frustrating. I'm like, oh God. And this whole 5 kilometer thing. So I need to find a good guy within 5 kilometer. Otherwise, it doesn't work. I mean,
So
how do I do that?
what are you looking for though?
To be honest, I am a single person. I'm living with housemates, but they have their own lives. I really want a social company. Like I really want to, be like be around someone or have that sort of um just social human connection, intimacy. Maybe I'm craving for intimacy, some sort of intimacy. Um,
Mm.
but you can't, like, can't. It's just so frustrating. I don't know what's your scene like, but what are your
I've been
thoughts on it?
completely, I've been completely out of the dating thing. Very much out of it. Yeah, I haven't had time, and I've been very busy during quarantine. Like I've been doing a lot of stuff. I've been, uh, yeah, I've been ingesting all this new information, and for me, like I'm not a big fan of dating apps. Oh, I haven't dated. Um, there's just too much uh, marketing that you gotta do, and I don't want to do the work. So
Oh,
um,
it is
I enjoy
frustrating. Hmm.
I enjoy yeah, interacting with people in real life way, yeah, way too much to, and that's why I've been doing it. And also, I don't want to. Um, I'm in a stage that I think I want um, yeah, I would love companionship, but I've been craving it a lot. Like I've been, um, there's been a lot of frustrations, and I basically haven't interacted with more than 10 people in the last 8 months, in real life. So, but I have been feeling very blessed by the opportunity to actually have more time to interact with a lot more people. And I've made a lot of new friends, and I've made a lot of, or strengthened a lot of friendships because of the situation and technology. And yes, it's not ideal, but it actually, I've been able to experience a lot of intimacy with a lot of friends. And I think an intimacy these days has a big connotation of sexuality and having a sexual type of intimacy. But I think that is way more deeper than that. It's more a spiritual thing for me, it's intimacy. And just being able to have this sort of conversation, that we can have, that you and I can have through the internet and the screen. Um, and actually having real conversations about, yeah, how are you doing with yourself? Like, how's your mental health? I think that there's nothing more intimate than that, to actually being able to, that someone can actually expose the wounds of their soul to you because of whatever is happening around them. I think that's a beautiful thing that a lot of people don't allow themselves to expose to others. And being able to just create those kind of connections has been really very beautiful. From a more superficial point of view, yeah, I just can't wait to see my friends. I can't wait to like go social dancing and interact with females and flirt again. And
Mm.
yeah, but I feel like that it's not the time for me right now. I just feel like the universe is giving me this time to do other stuff.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I'm very much going with the flow. Yeah,
Well, in my
I've had
case, yeah, sorry,
yeah,
what were you saying?
I've had like opportunities to break the rules, or like when we were able to like meet with people to others, get intimate with someone sexually, but I just didn't feel it right.
Mhm.
So I think I'm craving something a bit more.
Mm. Well, if I knew that the lockdown would happen again, I would have grabbed the opportunity, but I didn't. um, because I don't know, I was asked, like I've been asked by like four guys on a dating app, like, yeah, let's. But then we were thinking that the lockdown would end, but then it got extended. I'm like, whatever. I have been trying to find loopholes, but I
There
haven't been
are.
able.
It's
What is
really easy to just.
what's
So
the
the
loophole?
loophole is,
Tell me.
so you just need to have an intimate partner. That's what it has specified in the regulations.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's
How?
you don't need to submit any you don't need to submit any type of proof. What uh, the intimate relationship means is that you're having sex with that person. That's it. So you just have to say that you're in an intimate relationship with someone. Is someone that you'll be having sex with. That's it.
What if? So can you have sex after, like like in the
Uh,
lockdown, and then say that you're intimate and become intimate? That's
what?
okay, right? What I mean, like
What is that?
you're not intimate at this point, but you become intimate, and then you just be with that person during that lockdown as intimate partners. So that's okay, right? That's okay.
Well, yeah, yeah, it's okay. It's okay by the government that you have a sex buddy. It doesn't say that it doesn't specify that it has to be someone that you've been dating for a while, or someone that you've known before quarantine, or someone that, etc. It's just someone that you have an intimate relationship with, aka sex buddy. That's it. So if you want to have one, you're
Ooh,
entitled to. Yeah.
well, I'm gonna take up on that and do something about it.
Yeah. Just ask your housemates if they're okay with that, and see if they want you to stick with one, or you want to experience and live the quarantine at its
Yeah.
full potential or not.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, that's that's actually good to know. Um, yeah, otherwise it's been all right. Yeah, as you said that I feel like 2020, I think this year has been what do you want
And
to say? Yeah.
by the way, the sex body doesn't have to be in the 5 kilometers.
I know.
The sex
I
body can live
know.
anywhere in the states, even in regional Victoria. So you're good. You have a lot of variety.
I know, right? Um, yeah. No, all the guys that I'm talking to are outside my 5 kilometers radius. But I do like, I don't, not just about sex. Like I just really wanna, at least get to know them. Like, I don't know, go on a proper date. Like even if a proper date means like going for a walk or whatever it is, like be able to do that.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. Now, the question will be which one will I choose to be my quarantine or my lockdown buddy?
You should start a YouTube series that it's the Bachelorette quarantine edition, and
Actually,
you
that's a
just
good
like
idea.
that you go on a date with them for like an hour, and then you edit 20 minutes of episodes, and then you have a different date on each episode, and then at the end, you marry him. For the season finale, you just marry that person.
Yeah, yeah. That's actually a good idea. Um, yeah.
So good.
So how's like I know that you started the podcast. So Pablo has a podcast and it goes by the name of the Pabb Podcast. And I think the general idea behind the podcast is because Pablo is trying to navigate in his life and he doesn't know, like, I'm talking as if you're a third person, but I'm saying like as if you do not know where you want to go. You're trying to experiment with different things. You're trying to figure out your life while also trying to enjoy whatever you're doing, being in the moment, enjoying the experiences, but yet not being clear on your vision. And I feel like there's a lot of stigmatization sometimes regarding, oh, you don't know what you want to do. What are you aiming towards then? Like, why are you doing this? And everything, like, as if everything needs to have some end goal. Like, everything that you do has to have some clear path. But I don't agree with it. I think I am with you on that so much, like on the same page, because I started the podcast because I like talking to people. I really wanted to open up to people. I wanted to give people the opportunity, the platform to be able to express themselves, to be able to talk about anything, to be able to share concerns or their deep, dark feelings or good feelings or anything of that nature. And just feel free to share them with other people's, given that we live in such sort of society where everything needs to be perfect, filtered, just to have that open and raw and honest conversation. And I
Mm.
didn't have like a clear vision that I want to be like the most amazing podcaster in the world or want to become the female Joe Rogan or anything. It was just from the point of view of having like even a small community, like even of 20 people, having that strong connection amongst each other and being able to share their ideas despite having like very contrary beliefs about a lot of things. It doesn't matter. I think on a human level, being able to talk to each other. Yeah, and I'm with you on that. Like I don't have a vision, but at some time I feel like life can sort of, and the society can sort of pressure you into to speed the process, or like there's so many questions like, oh, you're 32, like I just turned 32, and my mom like instantly she's like, oh, you're 32 now, so you gotta start thinking, when are you gonna start thinking about this thing, like she's like about marriage and everything. And I get it, like there's so many questions about, and I like even I don't know, what do you think about like what's happening with you at this point of time? Like if I may ask you, how old are you? Because I'm not sure. I think you're
I'm
20,
29.
29. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So tell me what's it been
Um,
like with you, like the whole adulting process and what you are going through, and what are your thoughts about this whole thing about having a purpose, having a clear intention, and being in that space where you don't know what you exactly want.
mm, well, I think that an adult is just a child that has more years on them. And I know that sounds silly, but what I've been able to realize now that I've become an adult is that a lot of the adults that I interact with, they are still kids. They are still projections of the child that they were. They're still the consequence of their upbringing and the parents' fears and their parents' discipline and the parents' pressures on them and all the phobias that they had and all the fears and all the bullying that they suffered and all the abuse, etc. So now that I've figured that out, I feel very much relieved to be who I am because I always saw, especially growing up in a Latin American country in which I think it's very similar to India, that if you do not have a degree, you're no one in society. Um, you're not going to be anybody in life. You're not going to get a good job in a good company. Um, I had that sort of pressure, but now that I came to this society, which I'm very fortunate to be in, um, made me realize that life is a bit different than we think it should be. So I started the podcast because I had no idea what to do with my life. And that was the whole premise. First episode, speaking with my friend Angela. And now that premise, I think, has changed. And by doing the podcast, I've been able to know that I love. Well, I've always loved conversations, but I actually love to do what I'm doing with it. And I've always known where I wanted to go. So I would say that I do know what my vision is. I've always known that I want to get to a point in which I don't have to work ever again to get money and to sustain my family. The thing is, I have no idea how to do it. Yeah.
Okay.
And that's the thing. I have no idea how I can get there, but I know where I want to get to. So I now that I've been able to be in this amazing society and culture and place, and that I have a lot of the luxury to actually decide what I want to be, who I want to be, what I want to pursue. Um, I I've also realized that you actually can fuck up, and that it's okay to fuck up. That when you try new things, the more things you try, the more or the less possibilities are you far from. The more you try something, the less likely you are to fail in what you want.
Mm.
And and just allowing myself that, allowing myself, you know what, I really don't want to I don't want to go to university. I don't want to have a bachelor degree right now. Allowing myself, you know what I want to do is actually I want to learn more about myself and about the world. I want to backpack as much as possible. I want to explore dancing as much as I can. Uh, it's okay, you know,
Mm.
and uh, and that's how I'm living my adulthood now. I'm just very much going with the flow, but doing things. So I'm not waiting for things to happen. I'm making things happen, and I'm very much okay with with being bad at it. I'm very much okay with failing. I'm very much okay with having to try again or having to try something different. I'm very much okay with losing money in the process. I'm very much okay with being hurt in the process. I'm very much okay with losing friends um, because I know the reward I want.
Yeah.
So I think that it's very important that people figure out their goal, what they want, where they want to get, but it's okay if you don't know yet how you're going to get there. And that's very, very liberating, I think. Is that
That's
the question that you asked?
yeah, yeah, I did. No, that sounds pretty similar to what I have been also um the journey that I've been on, like this podcasting journey. And I think podcasting for me has become a way to explore new things and try to figure out a life. Like, I think I also want to, like, my aim is to become independent. Like, I think I know what's the end vision. Like, I feel like I want to become that person, but I do not want to work for someone. Like, I want to work for myself. I'll still be working for someone. I'll have like brands or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, but I want to have
No, what you mean.
that independence of being able to create, have that creative independence, being
Yeah,
able to
definitely.
live on my terms. Like, if I enjoy dancing, if I enjoy fitness, if I enjoy cooking, if I enjoy editing, I want to be able to do those things and then create income out of it. I don't know how. I don't know how, but I have
Yeah.
some idea, but I don't have like a clear vision, but I think I'll slowly get there. What I find tricky is the well, I have a very different situation because, as you said, that you were fortunate enough to be in Australia. Well, I fucked up big time because I should have applied for my whole visa situation, and I still get a lot of flack for it from my friends sometimes, for my family, that, oh well, you are in the situation because you didn't apply for it. So, which, to be honest, which is true. Like, I could have got the PR, the permanent residency, to be able to live here if I would have applied 3 years ago. But that time I wasn't sure if I wanted to live here. So I don't know if I want to take that blame. But at the same time, I know I had that opportunity and that closed on me. But I feel like
Mm.
it's just
Yeah.
one of, yeah. And I think my family and people who make a big deal about it, oh, that was such a big opportunity, you lost it. And I'm like, maybe that's like another way of some divine force telling me, like, this is not where you are supposed to be. Like, probably you have so many more things to you will do in life. And I try
Yeah.
to take that positively, but I'm constantly told, and that sort of really crushes me sometimes, is like, why didn't you apply for it? You wouldn't have these problems. And now I have these ongoing problems about staying here, where to go now, go back to India, starting a life again, or whatever.
Bring things down. So are your family still reminding you of that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So what's okay? So what's the point?
Well, they are sort of worried because they're like, oh, you have to, because I plan to go back to India. Then I was thinking I'll apply for Canada, but that's like a different thing. But if I
Mm.
move back to India now, they're worried that, I have to start a new life. What am I going to
Yeah.
do in India? And
If you have to start a new life, that's what you gotta do. Like the thing is, um, and I'm gonna ask you this very honestly.
yeah,
What's the point of your parents or your family asking you why didn't you make that decision, a different decision 3 years ago? I don't see any real point besides maybe you to learn something. But okay, is there anything that you haven't learned yet about it? I don't I don't see
um,
it. Or is it about just putting it in your face? You made a bad decision.
yeah, they think that I made a bad decision because they think, because I mean, I agree that I wanted to, like, obviously later on decided that I felt like Australia is a better place for me lifestyle wise to live here. But my parents are like, oh, you missed out on that opportunity. Now you have to come back to, yeah, it's sort of
But
like a reminder.
the important part is that 3 years ago, you didn't think it was the right thing to do. So
Yeah.
the important thing is that it's the moment. So if you have that decision now, if you had the opportunity of that decision now it does make sense, yes.
Mm,
But that thing happened 3 years ago. That's past. You can't do anything about it. You can't change that decision. It doesn't matter now. The only
yeah.
thing is that you need to allow it past to haunt you or to be present in the now is if you want to think, if you want to be grateful for something, or if you want to learn about something new. If you're not being grateful, if you can't be grateful for something, or if you can't learn something new, there's no uh, reason to be dwelling on that and to be accepting that. Um,
Yeah.
I would be telling my parents, if those were my parents,
Please,
I would be respectfully telling them to fuck off. And
please talk to my
and
parents then.
I would love to. I would love to be your parent. But
They're nice. They're really nice. But I
yeah.
understand. I understand that when you, because I don't know how much you know about Indian culture and society. It's like you're
Mm,
32. You
I know quite a
coming
bit. Yeah.
back from Australia. You had an opportunity. You missed out. You're coming back. You're a failure. You don't have
Yeah,
a
India,
job. You're unmarried. You're single. You're
that
gonna be living with your
mentality
parents for a while.
is that mentality is Chile 30 years ago. So um, yeah, my parents are like they had to go through that mentality. So I do understand it.
Yeah.
And the thing is that you need to, I think at the same time you need to allow your parents to adapt and to change. Like we humans are very, very adaptable animals.
Yeah.
But we need to adapt, and what we need to adapt is for our environments to change, our circumstances to change. So, for example, if you're not telling them, stop, start telling this because it doesn't benefit me at all in any way, I can't change that at all. So, if you're not saying it for something positive for me now, I think you're trying to hurt. If, for example, you didn't say something like that, they're not going to change that behavior because they don't see a reason to.
Yeah.
Because in their minds they're still thinking that the nice thing to do, the lovely thing to do is to tell you you did something wrong. And it's probably because they also heard about it. They probably also were hoping that their child was going to have a better situation and whatever they consider a good situation in Australia. And that's a frustration to them, and that's understandable, and that's something that I can empathize with. But the manifestation of it is wrong because
Yeah.
it doesn't benefit you, um, and it just causes you some sort of stress. So what can you worry about now is that, okay, these are my possibilities right now. My real possibilities of staying in Australia is to continue studying. What probably is going to happen is that I'm going to end up returning to India. Is that the worst thing that can happen? No, it's not. The worst thing that can happen is that you die. So if it's not the worst thing that it can happen, and the thing is that if you have to start a new life in India, so be it. So life is whatever you define of it. So I think it's exciting to start a new life. And you have the possibility then to go to another country. You will have the opportunity or the possibility to spend more time with your parents, um, or with other friends. Maybe you might meet the love of your life, your real Tinder date that actually does care and give a shit about your world. Who knows? You might
Um.
become a podcasting sensation in India and you don't have that possibility here. You might, I don't know, become a lion tamer that does pole dancing on the side. I don't know.
Yeah, I know. Like, I feel like obviously I would have a lot of opportunities, but I also have like a lot of like personal anxieties about moving back to India because I think like somewhere I've been running away from a lot of realities and like I'm in my own happy zone and I don't want to break it and I'm scared of um being in a situation where I'm constantly faced with that sort of pressure all the time. Like my parents are very understanding. Like if I explain to them, they'll understand. But the thing with parents is that that question keeps coming up every not if not every day, but every week. Like it's not a thing that you talk about and it's settled. It keeps coming up again and you have to keep explaining. And that's what I find the most annoying. And the other thing
You like
is,
doing it.
yeah, I'm just like, at the same time I understand like as parents, like they just I try to tell myself it's okay. They are just worrying because they really care for you. They really want the best for you. And I try to, try to be as calm and composed about it. Um, but for me personally, I'm actually, I don't know. Sometimes I feel like I should take some stress. I think I've come at this point where I don't take any, I try not to take any stress because I think stress has been like really bad for me in the past. But I do think that some stress is good sometimes. Like my whole 20s was just experimenting with things. Like I have done everything. Like I've done engineering, I've done journalism, I've done international relations, I've worked as an editor, I've worked in retail. Like I've done all possible things. And then I came to the conclusion that I don't want to do any of those things. That's my life. And I take pride in it. And I think because just because I've tried so many things, I understand what I like and what I don't like, what I want to do, what I don't want to do. But the way people see it is, oh, that's such a waste of life. And I understand, like, I know your point, like, um, that's just people's perception of you. Like, I know my reality. But, at certain point, like, it just gets to you sometimes. It's just, it yeah, it is a bit tough sometimes. I'm trying to like be strong and tough about it,
No.
and I am, but I think it does
Have you
take.
told them that?
Yeah, I think, I don't know, I think they know, but yeah.
Because obviously they're saying these things because they love you. You know that. But
Yeah.
have you ever asked them, why are you telling me this? Not
No,
not not not
I
telling
haven't.
them off.
Yeah.
Ask them why. Have you ever asked them, why do you want me to stay in Australia? And and I just want to get back to the point that I said before about what adults are. I genuinely believe that adults are just children that have just aged, not necessarily grown up. And a lot of our responses are just fear based. So uh, your parents probably don't want you to have, I don't know, something that they feared when they were kids, what their parents told them what they should be. I would have a very open conversation like I did with my friends, because they were very much of the mentality of you need to have a degree, you need
Yeah.
to study something, until we just had a lot of conversations about how I don't want to do that because it wouldn't make me happy,
Hmm.
about how I don't know what I want to study and that would make me miserable, about how I don't know, you know? And when you can relate those things to your parents and they start understanding your world,
Yeah.
when my parents started understanding that, well, actually in Australia or anywhere in the end, uh, you can be whoever you want to be and you're going to be okay.
Hmm.
And your idea of success has to match as well what they think, or they need to understand your idea of success, your idea of happiness, because that's what they want for you. But most of the times, parents, what they do is that they project their idea of their own happiness onto their children, which is not a bad thing. It's not a, a negative thing. It's just a wrong thing. It's just a thing that they do out of ignorance because they don't really know what their child's idea of happiness is. If your
Hmm.
idea of happiness is to live by your own means in Montana on a little hut in the middle of the forest and just eating salmon and berries every single day and being able to self-sustain yourself, I think it's going to go real bad if your parents think that it's about you being the executive and the CEO of a multinational company in India, you
Hmm.
know? So I think it needs to be it needs to be a very honest conversation about expectation, about what you feel and what they feel too, because they need to relate to what
Yeah.
you are feeling, and you need to understand their own fear, which
Yeah.
most of the time what parents project on what the kids are or will be.
Yeah, that's so true. Yeah, I think I will be needing some more conversations with my parents, how that goes.
I think
Because
yeah, few.
yeah, and it's
We are
good.
all complex children.
Yeah, it's good that I can have those conversations now. It's just like trying to make them understand because I get it. Like they haven't lived abroad, or they don't really understand. Like my dad has traveled, but my mom has also traveled a little bit, but they don't really understand how what my idea of success is. They see success from the definition, from the point of view of the society, like, you got to be married. And I understand that point as well, because they see that, oh, I'm 32, so if I don't get married, so I wouldn't have kids, and my, biological clock or whatever is ticking. And yeah, but the thing is, like, they don't understand that even I don't know what I want. Like, I don't know if I want children. I don't know if I'm at that stage, if I am ready to commit to a guy to be able to have like a family. Like, there's so many factors. Like, first of all, I'm struggling in dating, so I don't know where the family is going. um it's just, yeah, there's so many things, and it's so difficult to tell them, like, it's so difficult to convince them that I'm okay by myself, I'm not alone, I'll be fine. I understand your concerns, but I'll be more
Yeah,
happy being with myself than to construct a artificial or superficial life just based on what society wants me to be. Yeah, it's been tricky, Pablo. I'm still navigating that space, but
I
I think
bet.
that's what.
And you're gonna figure it out as well. But in my experience, um, what's gonna help your parents understand what you, yeah, understand you is if they understand themselves. So my dad was um, very narrow-minded man, and then he had to change um, because of suffering, because of loneliness, and because uh, of introspection. And then things made sense to him because he figured out things about himself. So yeah, just have these conversations with your parents if you can, of real friends, like
Mm.
from yeah, like I don't know if you can have those type of conversations with your
No,
parents
I
on this,
can.
but
I can, which is a good
yeah,
thing.
if you
Yeah.
can. Yeah, so if you can just ask like um real questions, like questions that actually matter more than why did you make that decision 3 years ago, or why, or see, you made the decision 3 years ago. What about, okay, why do you still ask me about the decision today? Or
Yeah.
why, okay,
Like, I have moved
why do you,
on. Yeah. Like, just trying to move on from that decision, and like trying to establish the next stage of my life. What am I gonna do? And I think they're constantly worrying about it. And I'm just like, let me figure it out. I'll figure it out. I've always figured it out. Anyways, enough about me. Let me ask to you some more questions. So I wanted to ask you, you know how they say that men mature later than women? And
right?
every time like there is some problem in a relationship, it's like, oh, he's 28. Oh, he must be immature. Women are more mature. And men usually mature when they're like 35 or 37. That's when it
Yeah,
actually hits them, that what is required of a man, according
yeah.
to a woman in a relationship, or when it comes to family. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Well, I don't know enough of this about the subject. I just know that I think that biology probably has a big role to play. So obviously, I think that, well, females start uh, maturing sexually way earlier than guys, and that has a big impact on how people are shaped. So I think the biology, and from an evolutionary perspective, we humans need to reproduce, and that's probably the main biological calling in our life, is to reproduce, to preserve the species. That's what nature desperately is doing, is just trying to preserve its species. That's the whole game. The whole game is to just perpetuate the species as much as possible, and to adapt and to change, and to not be killed by viruses and whatever. So when you so when women start maturing sexually earlier than men, that also, I think, impacts a lot in how their brains develop, the social abilities, and so forth. So I think that must probably has a big impact. I don't know much about this
I
topic.
think
I
I
I just know that I've heard that a lot,
yeah.
and I think it depends because there's very childish women, there's very childish men, but in the end, we're all children that have just grown up just a little bit. So it
Yeah.
depends, and what you define by childish. I'm not a big fan of the stereotype, but
I think it's to do with
yeah,
like the emotional quotient, like how women are more emotionally aligned to the or more in tune with their emotions, and they can sort of understand or gauge what's happening. And
definitely. Generally, women are, and you know why? Because women talk about shit. It's as simple as that. Like women, they from since they've been young, they're more used to like
yeah,
speaking about their issues. You
they,
know, and men do not really speak about their issues or their insecurities.
mm,
I know that also has to be with evolution and preservation of the species and being the alpha male and whatever. Um, but yeah, I think that it's because I think women are way more sound emotionally and socially because they speak about their issues with other people. They open up more. That makes you way, way less fucked up in your mind, for sure.
yeah. No, yeah, I agree with that. I think it could do, be to do with something like that. Like, yeah, like how men, yeah, it's not really encouraged in in your own spaces to sort of talk about anything that you're feeling or suffering or openly. what's
Yeah.
your what's your go-to when you have like an emotional breakdown? Do you like do you go to your friends? Do you have like a particular friend or your family that you gravitate towards?
I have some friends, some family, depends. Like sometimes it's friends, sometimes it's family, depends on the topic, I guess. I'm very much of a loner, actually. I have a lot of friends, but um, I I haven't had breakdowns in a while. So, and the breakdowns that I remember were alone, and
Yeah.
then I started reaching out to my family. Yeah, like to my mom, and then all the friends, um, and then I just discovered that there weren't real taboo topics. So once I was able to be free from my own mind and I could just talk about anything, then I really didn't feel repressed about many things because I think a lot of stuff has to do with being feeling repressed and being repressed about it, expressing yourself in a certain way. And because I had a real bad time um, with the mental health, and I touched rock bottom. And when I got there, I was like, I'm never gonna be here again. And then I started to really love myself and learn about myself and explore the things that I really loved about myself, about the things that I really loved about the world I was experiencing. And from that point, yeah, I've been very, very, very true to who I am. So I think that's one of the biggest and most important things is that, and I think that men are not encouraged in general to be who they want to be, to explore themselves truly, to be true to themselves. Because yeah, what if a man is very into dancing, you know? In some societies that it's like you said before, is like oh probably feminine a feminine thing to do or something that is not gonna give you enough sustain or sustenance to have a family, whatever. I think there's a lot of social constructs that need to be overcome. I'm probably yeah, I think so. I don't know enough about the subject, so I also don't want to give a think
No,
that I
that's
don't
all
want
right.
to give the impression that I do know. But yeah,
No, I just wanted your opinion. I don't think anyone knows any exact answer to these questions. Um, yeah. How do you think? um yeah, like it's going to be like a whole conversation about like men's mental health. And we are seeing like how they're talking about like in COVID times, like how men's mental health has is not being, not just men, like how suicide rates are more common in men
Yeah, definitely.
as compared to women, and that's not really talked about. How do you think we can encourage conversations? Like, what do you think as a guy we can do to open up those conversations? And do you think that the current trend, the postmodern feminism trend, is encouraging that, or is it suppressing it because it has all become about women's spaces, women holding the space for themselves, and talking about their problems they have with men or patriarchal mindsets and this and that, and sort of that sort of alienates men,
Mm.
even acknowledging that there is a problem in men, like in the way we deal with men. But unless we bring them in and talk to them, how are we going to find a solution? Like, what do you like, what's your take on this, like, whole, like, I'm just trying to understand.
Yeah, I'm starting to get a very special interest in men's mental health. This week I was reading about, yeah, that the same thing you were saying, that men are 4 times more likely to actually commit suicide in Victoria, um, than women, which is, I think it's incredible. Um, and I think that what we need to do is just normalize men opening up. So how do we stop? How do we start a trend that men can open up to other people? Is if men open up. Is if men that are in positions of power, men that actually have an outlet, men that actually have some sort of platform, can open up. When that becomes something natural and something normal, more men are going to do it. Like, I'm so sure. So I think it has to do with that. It's about, um, I think that's one of the things that needs to be looked into. I would love for Dan Andrews and Scott Morrison to talk about their mental health issues in a press conference. I think it would be amazing. Um,
Yeah.
and then face all the backlash that's going to take, and then do it again, and then continue. Because it's going to be a lot of people will see it as a form of weakness. Because you're meant to be tough. If you have testicles, you're meant to be tough. So um, yeah, I think that it's all about men opening up.
Mm.
Get men to ask them questions that make them open up. Get men and just talk about their insecurities.
Yeah.
Talk about your traumas, stuff like that.
Yeah. No, you're very right. My personal take is that what I am seeing the trend is, it's that it's not really um involving men. It's more like, okay, we are talking about men as if they are some third party of the discussion. And I don't like it. And
Mm,
I'm sort of observing it in my own circles. I'm seeing all
mm,
these women talking about self-empowerment, patriarchal mindset,
mm,
self-growth, breaking feminism. And these are all like women
mm,
circles, men know, like, or we have this tea party, or we have this meditation group of just females, only females. Why? I don't want, like,
I
I
mean,
find it a bit troublesome. Like, sometimes it's okay. You need some spaces where you can really be vulnerable. Like, there's some topics I understand, like, you just want to have, and there's no harm in just doing that. But more and more, what I'm seeing is just like just women's spaces. And I don't really find, where you are opening that space to everyone.
mm,
Whoever wants to join, men, women, transgender people, whatever, whoever you are. Um, and yeah, like I personally have a problem with the way, I don't know where you stand on the political spectrum, but I personally do not subscribe to the current um, postmodern feminist movement. I think it's very damaging. I don't think it's doing, it is trying to bring certain issues to the front, but the way it's dealing with the issues is not really bringing any change, or it's not going to bring real change, because it is alienating people,
Yeah.
especially men, because I feel like a lot of men can have some negative thoughts about a lot of things that women will completely disapprove of. But the point is, you have to acknowledge that they might not even know that. They might think that whatever they're thinking is okay. So just holding that space for them to express themselves, no matter how bad it is, but just letting them express and then dealing with it rather than shaming them, or like, oh, how can you even say that? Like, how can you, like, I feel like that's like a big problem.
Yeah. I think that the feminist movement is born from a beautiful belief and a beautiful place, of giving power to the disadvantaged. And I think that's just um, awesome. I think justice is one of the best things.
Yeah.
However, you cannot fight inequality with inequality. You cannot fight hate with hate, and um, and you cannot create an equal society without men. Whether you like men or not.
Mm.
And I think there are some certain manifestations that are, yeah, probably wrong. I'm not an expert on the subject. I haven't read enough. I haven't learned enough, so I don't know. But what I can see is that um, I also think that it's not a binary thing. I don't think that the feminist movement can exist and then there can't be a movement of men empowering men for their mental health. Like I don't think I think we over everyone in the world has a very different perspective on things and experiences, and we all prioritize different things. You know, like there are so many um, honorable honorable things to fight for that we're not everyone is fighting, but we all agree on probably. Like for example, I'm not fighting for uh, climate change as much as I am wanting to fight for mental health for men. And
Mm.
both things are quite honorable, But I don't know. I don't have the energy. I don't have enough interest. Maybe there's people that are fighting against human trafficking right now, while there's people fighting for females to have to get paid the same in a fair way as men. I don't think that if you're not part of a movement, you're going to be against it. Um, I think there's a huge binary mentality right now. That maybe that's what you're associating with postmodernism, and that if you're not with me, you're against me, kind of thing. And I think that humans are too complex to fall into that. Uh, we are way, way, way too complex to be just put down because of something that we are doing or not. And I think that there's a bit of a movement coming up with about men trying to open up and about men, and maybe it's part of the feminist movement of females, a lot of females being very angry with men, because they had bad experiences with men, and then they have wounds in their own soul that then they project into all men, um, which is kind of understandable, but needs to be dealt with. And then when you alienate so many people, which are men, which is pretty much half percent of half of the entire population in the world, you're gonna create probably a movement of people that are feeling suppressed, and then you gotta talk about your emotions and whatever.
Yeah.
Um, so I don't know what I just said, but in the end, I think that I'm not a big fan of binary mindsets. So not because I'm not focusing on one thing, I'm not going to be focusing on this other thing. And yeah, and I support the feminist movement in regards to what it is about bringing justice and true justice.
Yeah.
Uh, about which in the end about humans. You know,
Mm.
I don't think that because you're a female, you should get something instead of a man because of years of whatever. I think that now is the time to be just now,
Mm.
and you can make decisions now based only on the past.
Yeah. True. And then you have a third category of men who comment on my post like, "Oh, you're doing pole dancing. Do you want to be a stripper?" um, yeah.
This is very okay. I hope they're listening because I wanna tell them something. I wanna say to them
Please tell
that
them.
you're doing it wrong, bro. Like I understand that a powerful woman might intimidate you, and I also understand if a powerful woman you're attracted to is someone that you don't know how to get to interact with them. I understand that, but that's not the way. The only way that you can relate to people if it's you relate as a person, that it's open and someone that respects others. You can only get respect if you respect others. And I don't think it's very respectful if you make inappropriate comments to someone. So I want to ask you something with that, because
Ask away.
it's it's very apparent to everyone that follows you that you have quite a fan base of people that think you are gorgeous, that you are someone attractive, that you are hot, someone that um, they want to take out on a date. Uh, so, what is it that you are looking for? Who is someone that you would be interested
Out of those people, or just in general, me as a
in
person?
general? In general,
Um, I just want a decent, down to earth guy. Like, I don't think I really respect honesty and um, respect in a relationship, and just, yeah, just being respectful about each other. Like, I think that's what, like, respectful and loyal and loving. They're just like the basic qualities. Um, someone who can understand that, I go through ebbs and flows of emotions, and that's okay. I'm not going to be the same. Like, I'm not going to be this perfect um hot girl all the time. Not perfect, you know what I mean? Like, in those moments when I look perfect, but I'm not like that most of the times. um yeah, just being okay with it. Not okay, but just accepting me the way I am. And I'm a very silly person as well. Like, I'm very silly. Like, I love to be like that. Like, I just, oh, just being silly, just being, not taking life that seriously all the time, and just enjoying the moment, just saying whatever. Like, I don't have to second guess anything. I can just speak my mind. I can make a really bad joke and still be like, okay, she made a bad joke, that's okay. Like, not judging me for anything.
yeah.
um yeah, someone
So
who's ready to grow with you, who's ready to learn with you.
someone that's respectful, someone that takes the time for you, someone that is just there, that it's real, someone that just
Yeah.
takes you seriously.
Yeah, just be a normal, like, seriously, just like really basic. Like, I don't think I have any, I don't care about your looks. I don't care about anything. Like, I do. Like, I would prefer a handsome guy, but I'm saying, like, but it's not like the first thing that comes to me. Like, for me, it's just basic
Yeah.
values that,
So
yeah.
so my fellow man, if you want to date someone like Rashi, you just got to be yourself, bro. You just got to be real. You got to know yourself. Just just know yourself, and whoever you are, you're awesome. Like you're so complicated and so like intrinsically valuable. You're so different to everybody else. You don't have to be like your brother or like the friend that you got that you hang out the entire time. You don't, bro. You're way better than that. You don't need to send dick pics. You don't need to be asking for nudes. Bro, porn isn't real. Like it's fantasy. It should be in science
Yeah.
fiction. Porn is science fiction. So stop watching so much porn. Do it if you need to, but try not to because you're gonna get a real bad idea of what sex is with a woman, and also a really bad idea of how to interact with a woman, how to flirt with a woman. It's like you really need to learn how to do that. So just learn about yourself, learn about what learn social cues, bro. Learn social cues. It's so important. Learn like just go into YouTube. You can Google or like you can YouTube and how to ask a girl on a date or how to speak to women. Like yeah, there's some douchebags doing making those videos, but they have better social skills than you. So just learn the social skills. Don't learn the pickup lines. Pickup lines don't matter. They don't work. Just be yourself. Be confident. Learn how to be confident. Put yourself, expose yourself to different situations. Situations in which you are uncomfortable. Situations in which you're gonna fuck up. Situations in which you're nervous. The more you expose yourself to it, and you do it again and again and again, you're gonna get so much better. And then when you see a beautiful woman and complex woman and great woman like Rashi, you're not gonna ask them to send you a picture with no cloth. Like you're just gonna actually have a real conversation, and you realize how this complex human that you're attracted to is actually has their own flaws, has its their own insecurities, and has its their own wonders. So bring yourself down to the earth. Just if you want to compliment someone, please do it. But just be respectful, be tactful. If you don't know how to do it, please message me anywhere. You can reach me. I'm okay with that. Don't send me dick pics because I don't like them. But yeah, just think about it before you do it. If you need to wank before you send a text to a woman, do it because don't be manipulated by your own gonads, man. It's not good. It's not good for your reputation. It's not good for anyone. Okay? Thank you.
Oh my God. Thank you so much, Pablo. I think I really needed it. I think I wanted someone to say that to me because I don't think anyone would have said it better. Um,
I'm so done with men not knowing how to be respectful. I'm so done with men hurting my reputation as a man. Like I really am. So
yeah.
I want I want men, my fellow men, to treat my friends with respect. And it's not hard. Not hard
Mm.
to do. But you just have to learn to do it.
Do you have any cues for me how to respond to such comments? Like, if for the audience, like we're just talking about how I get some comments on my Instagram account when I ask people questions, like if they can ask me, and I get these random questions about sending them pictures of myself and sending them talking about my pole dancing and how I want to be a stripper maybe, and like weird questions. So any cues for me, Pablo, like how should I address, like I know you found my replies funny, but in the future, like I might not be that clever. I might just lose it. Um, but yeah, any cues for me?
I I guess that there's different answers to that. I guess that the answer is it depends. And I think it mostly depends on how you deal with what people say to you. If you really don't care and you can make it into something funny, why not? If you actually can ignore it, that's an answer too. A silence is a reply. Or if you can't really deal with it properly, probably maybe don't expose yourself to those situations. So don't open the the forum for people to ask questions. So
No, but
I
that's
guess
what I
it
want
depends.
to do. I want to understand. Like, I want to, like, for me, my page is an open platform where I'm trying to interact with people. But then I also
I
have
think
these
that what you can do,
followers who are just like,
well, I think what you can do is you can educate. So you have this very powerful position right now, in which there's a lot of men that are attracted to you. Yeah, they're attracted to you sexually. They're attracted to you from a mind point of view. They're attracted to the persona that you portray on social media. You have a very powerful position in which people will respect your opinion. Doesn't matter if they're just attracted sexually or they are attracted by what you say or by your content or who you portray to be. You have a very powerful position on the way that people actually will actually listen to what you're saying. So if you have that type of platform, use it to educate. I think that it's a fantastic opportunity to educate this type of man. Look, women like me don't like those type of comments. This is why. Because of this, and that. Instead, say this. Because everyone likes a compliment. Not everyone likes a tacky compliment, you know?
Yeah.
I think that you can compliment on a girl and how beautiful she is, but you don't have to be tacky about it. And that's the issue. It's when men over sexualize things or they just have no idea what they're doing. So yeah, I think that's what you can do. You can educate. So yeah, make it funny, or you can just also be blunt about it. And you know what? I actually don't didn't like this comment because of this.
Yeah. No, that's actually a great idea. I should do a post about it. Or I should do like a YouTube video, like a vlog
Yeah, I think you should.
covering
I
that.
think you should do. I think you do. You should do a YouTube series about how these type of men should speak to women. Yeah, definitely. I
Yeah.
support you all.
Pablo, we should do like an Instagram live because the same people are there on Instagram and they'll see you talking about, how
You
men
should,
should respond,
and
how they
you
should.
should you should probably cut this part of the podcast and just upload it on your Instagram, or you do like yeah, short videos, upload it and whatever.
And then we can also do like a how should men talk to women basics 101.
I always wanted to do something like that, but I don't know if I'm the adequate. Yeah, I'm adequate to do it. But yeah, I've always wanted for that to exist because I think that a lot of men need it.
That would
Yeah,
be amazing. I think
yeah,
that would be amazing and helpful for a lot of women out there. But
yeah,
yeah,
definitely. Like I have a lot of female friends, and I just hear some horror stories that just can't believe.
really.
And yeah, yeah, I'm always mind blown by the types of messages you guys get, the types of photos,
Mm.
unsolicited pictures you get,
Yeah,
um,
sometimes. Yeah.
etc. Yeah, I just find it mind blowing.
Yeah, it is
And
full on.
yeah, it does frustrate me very much.
Yeah.
I mean, they make it easier for decent guys. Yeah, that's good, but they actually make a huge bad reputation for themselves and men in general.
Yeah. Oh, that's true. I'm still learning about it. I'm still trying to navigate that space and trying to, yeah, one thing I haven't done is educate, so I think I'm gonna take up on that um idea and try to do something about it. Yeah. Just to, make it clear that, this is something I'm okay answering, but it's not gonna establish any relationship, any sort of relationship
I
between
think
us.
I think it's gonna be a killer piece of content. I think it's gonna be real good.
Okay.
Yeah, grab a message from all the awful ones you have. That it's not too bad, like honestly, but a message and just yeah, decodify it or just like really say why you don't like this, how it makes women feel, why you shouldn't say this, and what you should say instead.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Mhm.
think it would be a really good concept. Yeah, I think it would be a really good concept.
Yeah, no, you're right. I think it's better to educate than to just leave it hanging and then it will happen to you again and it will never be resolved. Not that I expect it to get resolved just because I make a video, but at least if someone gets educated, even one person, that would be a big deal. Yeah. Thanks for that,
Yeah.
Pablo. Anything else that we should talk about? I think we've been talking for a while. Anything that's on your mind that you would like to share with my audience, and eventually that will become your audience, and probably they will hound you as well with messages. So I don't know.
Well, I hope they do. I hope they help me with messages and tell me how shit I am and whatever. I would love to have those conversations with those people. Um, I don't know. I just wanted to say that I I don't know much stuff. I don't know many things. I that everything that I think I know, I've gotten from other people, from reflections from other people, from things I've read, from things I've listened to, from seeing people fuck up, from seeing people do good things, from my own experience. So, um, yeah, I'm just very honored and grateful and humbled by the possibility of just talking, and I feel very um, it feels very nice to be invited to the podcast. So thank you. And I also wanted to say that I am the most fortunate man in the world. And we said at the beginning because
Yes.
there's no one more fortunate than me. And I take a lot of pride in it because everything that I have is undeserved. Everything that I've had is just an act of luck. Um, the fact that I was born where I was born, having the family that I had, having the possibility of learning English at a very young age, out of nowhere, having the possibility to move to Australia with a very good visa and not having to struggle for it, and then getting my citizenship and having the possibilities that I've been able to have to travel as much as I've been able to all the friends that I've met, to all the jobs that I've gotten, to all the freedom that I've had and all the fuck ups that I've made, and still be able to be a very functioning person, and then having nice and good health. And yeah, I'm the most fortunate man in the world. Like, there's no one more fortunate than I am. So I'm just very thankful to life. I'm very thankful to the universe. I'm very thankful to the friends. I'm very thankful for the struggles, and I'm very thankful to dogs because everything and all of that has made who I am now. And I'm just getting older and complexer. And yeah, that's all I wanted to say.
No, that's beautiful. I think that's a perfect way to end a conversation. Is to just recognize that how grateful you are for all the things that you have in your life, and not leaving sight of that. I think tend to sometimes forget that no matter how many fuck ups I've had, I'm still so lucky to be at least living here and experiencing the life that I have had over the past few years, enjoying friendships like ours and with other people, being able to do a podcast, um, being able to talk to so many people, have real conversations, have that freedom that I felt I never had when I was living in India, and finally being able to have wings and do whatever I want, and enjoying life in so many ways. And I think that's what is so important. And I'm glad that you said that. I think, yeah, just practicing gratitude, and just remember, no
And
matter what happens
we
here.
all forget, and we all forget how lucky we are. Like, it happens to me often.
Yeah.
So give yourself a break too if you've forgotten, and then when you catch yourself, just return to it, and that's it. We overcomplicate a very complex life. So um, yeah, just give yourself a lot of love. I think that's one of the main things, is become your best friend. You because you know how complex you are, the things that you love, the things you hate, the things that you don't like about yourself, and the things you're really bad at, or the things you're struggling with. And I think that when you have that sort of information, there's no other better response just to love yourself and allow yourself to be that way, and then to improve. And yeah, just learn to be your best friend. because then you can actually talk shit to yourself and don't care because you know your best friends really cares for you. So
Right.
that's really helpful. And yeah, if anyone's listening, please follow me on Instagram. Follow my Instagram, EL_PABB, Pab. You can follow my podcast, the Pabb Podcast. I speak with very interesting guests every single Friday. Um, and yeah, if you don't know what you're meant to do in life, if you feel very lost, if you are in a career that you don't like, hit me up. I know the feeling, and you're not alone. And yeah, that's all the plug I want to do. I think. Yeah, that's it.
I'm gonna post all the links in the description as well so that you can reach out to Pablo. He is an amazing, awesome guy. And if you have any question, Pablo is the man. You gotta ask him. He's gonna give you an answer and a good answer. And you will educate yourself in a lot of ways, I think. Yeah, so definitely reach out to him, show him some love. He's doing some amazing work through his podcast, and he's just a good soul that you just want to talk to. So yeah, reach out to him. Don't send him nudes. I don't think he'll appreciate that. If you're a man with girls, I'm not sure.
Now, an unsolicited human nudes pictures are weird.
Yeah,
Not a fan of either
same.
sex. No, no, no,
Yeah.
no, for that purpose. No,
But yeah,
I'm very picky
thanks.
with what I like. So
Oh my God, yeah, it's yeah, yeah. We this could be like a whole topic when it comes to like people sending you pictures, unsolicited images on social platforms. But thanks for this conversation, Pablo. I really enjoyed it, and I loved the wine. I think the concept was good. We should do some more wine conversations in the future as well, and hopefully
yeah,
we get to do this
thank,
again.
yeah, definitely. Thank you for the invitation. Very honored. Thank you very much. And yeah, this is fun. I can talk about anything. I have a lot of shit to talk about. So
We
yeah, the
will
things that I don't know.
We'll do this again. We'll definitely do this again. Yeah,
Yeah,
this is the first time, and this is not going to be the last time.
yeah.
I
Like
can
I
tell you
told you,
that.
I would always say yes to you. So thank you.
Thanks, Pablo.